Welcome in, everybody, to episode 7 of the Gridiron Geeks.
Yeah.
My name is Strez.
And I'm Dakota.
Western Dakota on social media. Make sure that you follow both of us over there. The season's over. We're moving into a new area of the year. The NFL Combine started today, which was really fun. The time that we're recording this. Shout out both my linebackers, Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles from the Ohio State University. Both ran a 4.46 40 today at 250 pounds each. They are spectacular human beings. But we're in that part of the year where it's like, free agency hasn't quite started. The Combine's in the middle of it happening. Not really anything fun is going on in the world of football. We're through with firings and hirings. Nothing new is happening. So we're going to talk about what was recently released with the projected win totals from DraftKings Sportsbook. By the way, no free ads. I should have even said their name here. Their win totals for 2026. The NFLPA dropped their report cards for the 2025 season, so we're going to look at those as well. We're going to talk a little bit about Mandalorian and Grogu. Now that we finally have the trailer, it feels like they listened to our episode 6, which is hilarious. And then we're going to finish off with I have a surprise topic, and if we still have time at the end, we will get into our favorite lightsaber battles. But if we need to push those off, we might push those off to next week. So
I want it noted, I don't know what the surprise topic is. Like, Strez is keeping this from me.
Yeah, it was something that I literally just came across as I was walking downstairs to come into my office, and I was like, I'm going to drop this bomb on Dakota while we're recording. Like, not even going to, no hints, no nothing. Just going to drop it while we're recording so that we get, the most pure reaction possible.
It's for the clips. You're doing this purely so we can have clips, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But first things first, I'm the realist. We're going to look at the win totals from, I think it's DraftKings. Yeah, DraftKings dropped the win total predictions for the 32 teams next season, which, you can't really put much stock in these numbers because no one knows anything. Like I said,
right.
the Combine just started. We don't have the draft yet. Free agency hasn't hit. We don't know what any of these teams are going to look like by the time that mandatory minicamp comes around.
Right.
So putting these numbers out in the first place is just weird. I don't know. How do you feel about the early win total predictions like this?
I am never a fan of early win predictions. I don't start posting my own personal predictions until after the schedule comes out.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things that could happen the very first day of free agency. I mean, there's already been some trade rumors going around. A certain quarterback is said to be released first day of free agency. And to me, just looking at these numbers, I feel like a lot of it is very biased because the Chiefs have no place being at 10.5 wins predicted after this last season. If you ask me, I think the Chiefs are going down, not up. You've got an aging Travis Kelce who's showing no signs of retirement. I don't know if they are going to make any moves to fix that defense. I don't think that a certain wide receiver is going to be allowed to play in the league next season, depending on how things go with his court trials. Am I a little salty that they put the Vikings at 8.5? Yes, absolutely I am. But some of these I'm yeah, okay, I can see the Niners, the Seahawks, and the Rams at 10.5. I can't see the Chiefs at 10.5. If the Chargers don't fix that offensive line, I can't see them at 10.5. I don't know about the New England Patriots at 10.5 either. So for me, it's a lot of this feels more biased than it does really based on statistics, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and you raise a good point with the schedules. Scheduling matters. When you play who makes a huge difference, right? The Broncos last season got lucky enough to open the season against the Titans.
Yeah.
The Broncos, if they were playing the Titans, later in the year, the Titans really weren't that good all season long. But, there's a chance that, a rookie quarterback figures it out in the second half of the season and actually can come out and win one that they shouldn't have won in the first place. And you're playing, coaches that are historically good coming off of the bye. You're playing against that team after a bye week for them.
Right.
This doesn't have that built into the prediction either. So I do think the scheduling does matter a lot.
Yeah.
But I think what they're doing is they're just looking at like, okay, here are their 17 opponents.
Mm-hmm.
Here's how many of those games I think they're going to win. But again, it's like, how can you, like, there are 5 teams, 6, 7 teams that we don't even know who the quarterback's going to be, week 1 for these teams.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, and on that point too, with like playing certain teams at certain times, for the example with playing at Lambeau Field, the Vikings play at Lambeau every single season.
Right.
And depending on when you play at Lambeau, you're going to get
before
a different field
October
condition.
or is it
Right.
after October?
Are we talking the janky heating of the field, or are we talking the grass is still green and it's a decent wind, and for some of these teams, some of them are going to be getting new stadiums. It's going to be their first time playing in those stadiums. So like if you're playing against Buffalo at home, how acclimated to that new stadium are the Buffalo Bills? How acclimated is anybody to that new stadium? How worn in is the turf? I think it's kind of like how I feel about interception stats. What actually goes into that interception? So with this, what actually is going into this prediction?
Like a wide receiver tips a pass and it gets
Right.
intercepted. Yeah.
Right. Or the ball gets tipped at the line, or, but with this, it's like, what are the field conditions? Because a lot of these teams do play indoors and a lot of them, or outdoors, a lot of them are getting brand new turf. A lot of them are getting brand new stadiums in general. You also have to consider just overall, like you said, who's playing quarterback for a lot of these teams. There is at least, I can count just in the NFC alone, I would say at least 5 teams that I would be like, I have no idea who your quarterback is starting opening day.
Yeah, probably pretty confident, but like it could change.
Yeah, we all know who I want the Vikings to pick up day 1 free agency. I have said that many a times. I have been very vocal that I support JJ McCarthy despite you not liking JJ McCarthy. But, so for me, it's like, if they do pick up this guy, is it going to be him? Is it going to be JJ? With the Commanders.
Will JJ make it through training camp without being hurt?
Right. Is Jaden Daniels going to feel well enough to open for the Commanders? Does Dak Prescott come back to the Cowboys? Is Arizona going to keep... There's a lot of things in this that I just am not a huge fan of early predictions like this, because to me, at this point, the only thing you have to go off of is your own bias and how they performed last year, which again, with the Chiefs, it's like you put them at 10.5 wins.
Yeah, and the Broncos had the biggest drop in win total.
Right. So
they won 14 games this last season, and DraftKings has them at 9.5.
You also have the Cincinnati Bengals at 9.5. Did they suddenly get better?
Are they suddenly going to be able to protect Joe Burrow?
Right. Am I missing something here?
Yeah, I guess really the only reason that these things exist, I think, is for shows like ours.
Yeah.
Just for people who talk about football to have something to talk about in the late part of February going into March before the draft gets here, before free agency actually starts.
Yeah.
None of these were like shocking numbers though. Like I can see, of course DraftKings is going to give the Chiefs 10.5. They have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. As long as they have those two people, they're probably going to always be close to around 10 games.
Right.
Like the Bills at 10.5. That makes sense. The Panthers at 6.5. They go over 6.5. They win 7 games. They could somehow still win their division because that division is a dumpster fire. Like a lot of these don't really shock me. I mean, I think the Jags number seems low. They're at 9.5. The Jags, you see, I saw a video of Aaron Glenn falling asleep at the combine.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, and it's like,
dude,
I posted it on Twitter. I'm like, man, I wonder why the Jets are just always so bad. And it's like Exhibit A, their head coach is falling asleep at the combine. Just crazy stuff. It's just disappointing stuff.
My heart goes out to all the Jets fans out there. You guys deserve better.
Do they?
Well, maybe not. Only
I can
time
think
will
of a
tell.
few fan bases that I think probably deserve a Super Bowl championship before the Jets do. Vikings maybe being one of them.
Nice.
Mainly for my co-host and Eric Marshall.
Mm. I also like with this too. I want to know. I mean, I know that they have a tiny little bit that's like talking about the analysis of it, but it only really talks about a couple of teams. Why do we have the Detroit Lions at 10.5? That nothing
Jahmyr
to
Gibbs.
me. Okay, that's actually fair.
I think
Jahmyr Gibbs
could
and
win
Jahmyr
10.5
Gibbs
games.
alone.
Literally, if you just throw 22 Jahmyr Gibbses on the field, they could probably win 10.5 games.
It's like that. It's the Battle of the Bastards from Game of Thrones, but it's Jahmyr
Yeah,
Gibbs.
he's just
versus the
unsheathing
entire
Long
NFC
Claw
North.
by himself. Yeah. By the way, probably the like most epic frame in
Oh yeah.
like TV history.
Oh,
Staring
for
down the
sure.
entirety of the flayed.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
that's awesome. And that's how Jahmyr Gibbs kind of feels all the time.
Oh, I love Jahmyr Gibbs. Shout out to the Detroit Lions. Did you know that the Detroit Lions follow me on TikTok?
Do they really?
They follow me on TikTok.
That's crazy.
The Vikings don't, but the Lions do. I'm pulling up the receipts
Detroit,
right now.
follow me. What? That's not
I
fair.
I got you. This was a while ago because I made a TikTok being like, nobody's doing it. Like the Detroit Lions social media team is doing it. And they were like,
Theirs is
hey, we
good.
appreciate that. And so they followed me back.
Okay. Speaking of social media teams for NFL, this is like a future of it. Wow, that's real. It really is there. Future planning when we get to August or I don't even know, July. When do schedules come out usually? Early August?
August,
probably.
July, like late July, early August, yeah.
We need to do an episode where we literally just review their schedule videos, like schedule drop videos for all 32 teams.
Oh my god, yes, I would love that.
That'll be a fun one. That'll be a fun one. But
that'd be good.
Yeah, I think the lowest win total on here is the Arizona Cardinals at 4.5, which does
It's
not
crazy.
shock me because also, according to the NFLPA's report cards, they are the 31st overall ranked team. They got F's in, they got an F- in their locker room. They got a D+ on their weight room, a D+ on their training room, a D+ on their treatment of families, an F in team ownership. They didn't get a single A on this. Their highest grade on this report card was a B+.
Dang. So interesting thing. We were talking about this before the podcast. The NFL, like, they filed a grievance or something with the NFLPA being like, hey, we don't want you to publish the report cards. And the NFLPA was like, okay, we won't. So they handed them to ESPN to publish.
Petty.
Which I love. It's interesting because before this, with the Cardinals being 31, the Steelers are 32, and it is being reported that in their locker room, the reason why they have an F- for locker room is because they only have 5 stalls in their bathroom for the locker room.
And they gave themselves an F- in their locker room.
Mm-hmm. They got an F in family treatment.
I guess that's true. When your quarterback is 50, he has to pee a lot. That does make sense.
Well, and with all the weird things that man gets up to, it makes sense. Yeah, their highest grade is for their head coach, which was an A, because you have to remember that this is over the 2026 season.
Yeah, they're Mike Tomlin. Yeah, I mean, he's an A-, B+ every single year.
The top 3 teams. Okay, before I know you've looked at it, but do you know who number 1 is? Have you looked at who number 1 is? Because I think number 1.
I actually haven't. I'm literally like looking at these numbers like as we're recording right now.
Oh, okay. Who do you think the top 3 are?
I would probably say Buffalo.
Okay, interesting.
This is tough.
I know it's interesting.
I want to say Chicago, but I don't.
Okay.
I don't know that would be the case.
Mm-hmm.
So those are 2.
Yeah.
And then a third.
Mm-hmm.
not Seattle because I just saw that they were number 4. I got to the LA Rams, maybe. I don't know.
So interestingly enough, the other people who I asked this also said the Buffalo and the Rams to be in the top 3. Buffalo and the Rams are in the middle of the pack. Neither of them are in the top 10. They're in the top 20. Coming in at number 3, you actually have the Washington Commanders.
No way.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting, but the Commanders have mostly A's and B's across the board with ownership being an A+. Yeah. At number 2, we're always I don't know why people never expect us to be so high when we consistently are this high. Number 2 are the Minnesota Vikings.
I get it. Like that makes sense. Like, I get it.
Our lowest grade is a B- in food and dining area. Everything else is a B+ or above.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. They're being forced to eat a bunch of walleye.
And tater tot hot dish, don't you know? Number 1, which actually genuinely surprised me, is the Miami Dolphins.
That makes no sense to me.
I know. What do you mean?
Like,
I was so surprised.
Like, they fired their head coach. Tyreek Hill, when he got hurt, looked like he was so excited that he didn't have to play the rest of the season. They're running their starting quarterback out of town. That actually does not make sense to me at all.
Interestingly enough, head coach and special teams coordinator are their lowest grades, and they both are given a B, just a straight B. Those are their lowest grades for the Miami Dolphins. The Broncos,
where are the Broncos at on here?
In at 10. They are the 10th overall best team.
I like that.
Where did they go? I know, like I feel like that's
their locker room got a D. Their locker room is what brought them down.
Otherwise, they would have been like top 5. But yeah,
interesting. I wonder why their locker room.
Who's to say?
That's interesting. I obviously, now that the richest owners in the NFL are seeing that their locker room got the lowest grade,
they're gonna upgrade for sure.
Oh, it's gonna be like they're gonna like walk into their lockers like Iron Man and it's gonna put their uniforms on them with nanotechnology.
The Los Angeles Rams, to bring up the teams that you mentioned, the Los Angeles Rams are at 19, with their lowest grades being in food and dining and locker room. Their family treatment is also not the best. The Buffalo Bills, if I remember, are at like 12. Am I correct there? I'm a liar. They're at 16. And this is to me, this is the most surprising. They're at 16 and they got 1 F in home game field.
Well, they're fixing that issue before they even got the grade for it.
Yeah. I bet you it's probably because, that was really Minnesotan. It's probably has to do a lot with.
I betcha.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you betcha. So, I mean,
yeah.
I always think that this is really interesting because I have made it very known on my TikTok that I am a huge fan of, treating players like people. And I always think it's really interesting to see, these scores, because then I think it tells you a lot about where a lot of these guys end up free agency wise, where they're trying to get traded to, what rookie is hoping.
Someone's not going to want to go play for a team that's like 27th.
Right.
On the report card.
Feel like then explains why the Raiders just continuously get such bad looks at the draw when you consider the team, like the players that go over there. That
I think it's because their owner's haircut too, but that's a different.
To me, the biggest surprise, I think, out of all of this is the Green Bay Packers being on the lower end of things.
That's crazy because I was looking at the Jags are number 5 overall.
Mm-hmm.
Duval County, where you have to go to wing dump.
They got a B+ for.
I'm just quoting Jason Mendoza.
The Chiefs. This to me also surprised me. The Chiefs were at 27th with treatment of families at a C, which is interesting to me because y'all have Taylor Swift. How are you going to treat Taylor Swift like C caliber? Their team travel is not an F, but it might as well be.
Yeah, D-.
Like,
it's crazy. So for those of you who haven't seen what these grades are, they get graded. The players basically take like I mean, think of it as like your company. Every year, if you work
Mhm.
for like a corporate organization, your corporate organization is going to send out like some sort of survey that's like I think my company, we call it like the belonging index or something, whatever. It's like your
Okay.
opportunity to like say like, I trust the leadership of my company. I understand the direction of the company. I feel like
Yeah.
I'm, being given, ample responsibility and the training and everything that I need for this kind of thing. This is exactly what this is for the NFL, except they rate treatment of families, home game field, food/dining area, nutritionist/dietitian, locker room, training staff, weight room, strength coaches, position coaches, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, team travel, head coach, general manager, and team ownership. So that's a list of what is it, like 12 things each?
Yeah.
That's going to give you a pretty good understanding of like where the gaps are, like if you could probably understand like, oh yeah, our team had 17 injuries on the defensive side of the ball. Oh yeah, the training staff and the training room has really low grades at the end of the year. Like you can kind of expect some of those things, but other things it's like, wow, yeah, the Chiefs
Yeah.
poor treatment of not poor treatment of families, but like
But not the
a
best.
lower
Yeah.
grade in their treatment of families. It's kind of a crazy.
And you have to keep in mind too that a lot of these are asked of them once their season is over.
Yeah.
It's not like once the Super Bowl is over. It's once these team seasons are done, the NFLPA that's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true.
Like in an exit interview time.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
an exit interview. And so for a lot of these things, looking back on it now, so like for example, the Vikings ranked their GM as an A, but we all know that Kwesi got cut. He's now back with the 49ers. So it's interesting from that standpoint if it's like, well, but if the players give him an A, why did they fire him? There's a lot of intricate things that I think a lot of people don't see about the NFL, and this survey kind of gives us like a tiny little hint into the lives of these NFL players that
Yeah.
we don't really know or understand or see, that then later is like, okay, maybe it makes
Yeah.
sense why Max Crosby was so pissed when he said he didn't have an injury, or why the Patriots were so tired going to a game. It's because they ranked travel as an F.
Yeah.
Although, weren't they stuck at an airport? Was that them?
I have no idea.
Someone was stuck at an
They
airport.
didn't travel west of the Mississippi River until the AFC
Yeah, I think it
Championship
was
game.
like they were like almost stuck during play. I'd have to look it up. Somebody got stuck at some point.
Yeah, no, that is true. Because like the most shocking head coach firing to me was probably Sean McDermott.
Yeah.
When the Bills said we're moving on from you, and then you look at what their team graded their head coach, the Bills gave McDermott an A-.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is interesting kind of to see like, we're on the outside perspective, like looking in. We saw how the team did. They made it to the playoffs. They had this, type of season. The team played really well, but some other things were going on behind the scenes that we really weren't aware of. Which, yeah, keep those things in the back of your mind when it comes time for like contract extensions, free agency, trying to get guys re-signed, trying to bring guys in. Because I do think that these kinds of numbers are going to affect things for sure.
I think a lot of people assume, like taking the example of, not to keep bringing him up, but like Kirk Cousins, yeah, the Falcons offered him a huge bundle of money, but then looking at this, treatment of families B+, and I'm sure if I look back at the last 2 years, some of these guys do have families and they want their families to be well taken care of. So I'm sure for the guys that have kids, that's a big part of it, is how well is this team going to take care of my kids?
Yeah. Yeah, because like a lot of the players aren't married.
Yeah.
Especially in their earlier years in the league. And when eventually they do get married, like they don't have children yet. So it's just like, okay, my wife and my best friend or my wife and my mom, or, those people, are they going to be taken care of at the game?
Right.
That kind of stuff. But yeah, you're right. Like the people who have families, like, like Matt Stafford's kids are like almost in high school. I'm just kidding. He's not that old. But like,
No, it's
yeah,
more like
are they
middle school, but
are they taking care of the children? Like that is an important piece, Yeah. Report cards and win totals. 2 things that you only get to talk about at the end of February.
because there's nothing else to talk about.
Nothing else to talk about. But there was something that happened in the beginning of February, which was the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And in our last episode, episode 6, we actually talked about how the fact that we didn't get a Mandalorian and Grogu trailer during the Super Bowl really pissed us off. And then literally 24 hours after that video drops,
oh my God,
Disney Lucasfilm gives us the final official trailer for Mandalorian and Grogu. And it was glorious.
It's so good.
I really liked the trailer. Like, it didn't tell us anything. And I love that. It was just like, sizzle reel. Look at this shot. Look at this shot. Look at Grogu. Oh, here's another Grogu. Look at this shot. Oh, by the way, Pedro Pascal is actually the person who is in the Mandalorian costume. Like, it was like all kinds of different things. And it was just like, it didn't really tell us anything about like the story. I don't know who the bad guy is going to be this season. We got Embo from the Clone Wars, which is like such a deep pool. There's like a lot going on. Like, what was your take when this dropped?
So it felt like a traditional Star Wars trailer. Like that was what I had asked for before when we talked about it at prior to it releasing. I was like, give me like the bits of nothing that are gonna make me sit there and be like, well, what does that mean? What does that mean? And like I can sit there and pick it apart. So like,
I mean, even the way it opened up with the X-Wings like kind of like floating down over like in front of that like setting sun.
They're not in attack formation, so like where are they going?
Yeah.
How like I had heard a rumor online that we might even see General Hux and like how he starts the First Order a little bit into the New Republic. Like to me,
would it be Domhnall Gleeson?
Who's to say? And if it is, what up, bestie? But like to me, cool. The trailer for you and I hardcore Star Wars fans opened up a lot of theory possibilities, and the biggest one that I am starting right here right now on our show is I don't think that the Super Bowl teaser was not just like a here you go, because in the scenes where we see the Imperial officers,
there were snowtroopers.
They were snowtroopers. So why are they on Hoth?
Yeah, which I didn't recognize them as snowtroopers on my first watch because, like, to me, like the snowtroopers, like the drape thing, like goes down to like their belly button. This one they look kind of shorter, but they were in the white stormtrooper outfit. So I was like, wait a second, have I seen those stormtroopers before?
Those
like
that
was my first thought. And then I went back through and I looked and like paused like frame by frame. I'm like, oh yeah, those are snowtroopers. So yeah, I mean maybe they are on Hoth.
Are they on Hoth? Is this them finding Starkiller Base? I am still very hopeful to this day that we will get live action Iden Versio, and I feel like this is a really good movie to introduce her in. Shout out to all my Star Wars Battlefront 2 girlies out there.
Yeah.
Or guys.
I guess yeah, the Starkiller Base that you like really piqued my interest on that one because
it's snowy.
Yeah, there is like that's literally where the Millennium Falcon lands on the Starkiller Base when they're going there in The Force Awakens is like in the snowy area in the mountains. Interesting.
And like
we don't know. Sorry, I keep cutting you off, but I'm just like all these new thoughts are happening in my brain. I'm like, yeah, we don't know like when was Starkiller Base like built.
And
like when was it finalized?
Part of me too. Are we gonna get a callback to the original Clone Wars movie? Because we're seeing that baby all growing up now. Are we gonna get a callback to when 3 Jedi saved that baby boy?
Yeah, I'm curious what Embo's doing.
Yeah, what's he up to? What are they up to? What's everyone up to?
Yeah, it's just like what is going on? Like somebody mentioned something about it. I think it was the guys over at Cool Blind Wave. I don't know if you watched what they do, but they do some really cool stuff. They were reacting to it, and they were like, it feels like the way that Dave Filoni does stuff, him and Jon Favreau just kind of like reach into their Star Wars toy box, they'll put one toy away and they'll pull another one out
Yeah.
at like
Just
a
like all these
random
deep
moment.
cuts. Yeah.
And it's like that is kind of how it feels, because it's like, what in the world? Like this makes no sense.
I genuinely really hope we're getting a little bit more into the bounty hunter underworld with this. I
always thought that was what this show was gonna do in the
yeah,
first place.
like, I love Outlaws. I wish the gameplay hadn't have ruined it for me so I could have played it more, because I love that unexplored area of Star Wars, and I wish we had more content in it. And so I am genuinely really hoping that this movie gives us that content, especially with that deep cut. They were like, this is for you Clone Wars fans out there. We love you and we see you and we appreciate you.
Yeah, because I think because it was, what was it, season 2? We had Cad Bane.
Mm-hmm.
Which was
Shout out.
crazy. That was just absolutely
Seeing
crazy.
him in live action was so fucking cool.
It was kind of startling. Almost, I was like, whoa.
But I feel like it was like perfect, because like Cad Bane is so fucking like scary.
Yeah, it is like a menacing character. So yeah, it is interesting, that we're gonna get this. I'm excited to see Jeremy Allen White. Well, not see, I guess here.
CGI Elise.
Yeah, here Jeremy Allen White as the Hutt baby, all grown up now. So that's gonna be interesting. I think. Do his minions respond, yes, chef? I don't know. I guess
they have to put a joke in there, right? They have to. Like, it's mandatory.
I would love it if they actually put like a the bear joke on one of his scenes. But there were some pieces that I was curious about. So we got Zeb. We got another look at him. And he showed up in, was he in the most recent season? He was in that episode that Bill Burr was in, I'm pretty sure, wasn't he?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think he was in that episode. So we've seen him before. And we've also got Chopper and Hera and Ezra are on their way back from, actually, I don't remember if Chopper went. Chopper and Hera stayed. And
right.
I'm trying to remember how the ending of Ahsoka happened. Spoiler alert. Yeah, no, Hera and Chopper stayed at that like launch point thing that they were fighting at the beginning with like that.
Yeah.
Where all that happens. Hera was there with Chopper, and Ahsoka and Sabine went
to the other galaxy, right? Yeah.
Yes, and Ezra comes back, and Sabine and Ahsoka are stuck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because the new season is going to be them trying to get out.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a chance that we could see Hera, Ezra, Chopper, and Zeb back together, which would be cool.
Which would be insane, right?
But at the same time, it's like, dang, this is tough that we don't have the other two,
right?
From Rebels. But there's a lot of directions they could go here. Thrawn obviously is back.
Yep.
Like he's back into, the universe or the galaxy that we are accustomed to. So it's going to be interesting to see like what that happens. And, I know that there's talk of them leading into kind of this like culmination event movie that is like the Boba Fett, the Mandalorian, the Ahsoka, like all ending at the same spot, fighting against Thrawn right before the rise of the First Order. So I wonder like how far along in that story we're going to get, like what kind of time jump has happened leading into this movie. I'd
heard a reference that this is happening way after Battle Yavin, but I'm interested too because we still haven't, so not to bring it back to Star Wars Battlefront 2, but I have to. I know that we have had references to Operation Cinder, I believe, in the live actions. I'd have to go and rewatch it, but I know that at least once or twice we've had references to Operation Cinder, which essentially, for those of you who haven't played the Star Wars Battlefront 2 campaign, which first off, what are you doing? In my opinion, one of the best Star Wars campaigns that we've ever gotten. After the Battle of Endor, the Emperor kind of had this like embodiment of him that sort of carried on for him, and through Inferno Squad carried out Operation Cinder, which was essentially them trying to destroy the evidence of what they had done. I'm looking at the camera. And so Operation Cinder was them essentially using a type of machinery that was somewhat similar to the Death Star in that it would alter the planet's core, but not to the point where it would destroy the planet, just like completely alter the planet entirely. And so they were able to successfully do that to a Imperial world. I don't remember which world. And then they tried to do it to the Naboo because Emperor Palpatine is from Naboo. Leia and the escaped Inferno Squad, Del Meeko and Iden Versio, helped the rebellion, end up joining the rebellion, yada, yada, yada. But I would be really curious to see if we do actually get any Inferno Squad or a reference to that, because I do believe Thrawn, that was like one of his breaking points, or like had some opinion on it. I can't remember. My brain is so full of NyQuil right now. But I would genuinely be really interested to see if, since we are coming up on this convergence movie, like you say, with Ahsoka, Boba Fett, and The Mandalorian, I think it would also just be a really cool opportunity to bring in Star Wars Battlefront 2. And I have already talked about with like the change of Batu West that they could be bringing it over. So it's like, this is the perfect opportunity. You're already taking deep cut pulls from Clone Wars. You're already taking deep cut pulls from your own live action shows. I mean, a lot of people hated the Clone Wars movie, and yet here we are seeing that baby grown up. Like, I have a gut feeling that we're going to get something, that there's going to be something out there because of all of the love that the Star Wars fandom has been showing once again to Star Wars Battlefront 2. So like, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, if you hear me, show us my girl Iden Versio, please. I beg of you.
I don't think that they're gonna mess it up. Honestly, like,
no.
Whatever they do, whatever this season is, I think it's gonna be awesome. Let me ask you this: okay. What are the chances that we see Emperor Palpatine?
Somehow Palpatine returned.
One of
well.
So I think kind of how I've envisioned the entirety of like the story of Mandalorian is the reason the Empire, the remnants of the Empire, had Grogu in their possession was because they wanted to use his blood and the midichlorians to start the cloning project that brings back Palpatine by the Rise of Skywalker.
Oh,
so that's kind of how I've been envisioning this entire thing. And if this fan theory that I've been culminating or like creating in my brain and like other people have been like adding to it on the internet doesn't come true, I won't be upset. But I do feel like, because Palpatine tells Kylo Ren in The Rise of Skywalker that he's been every voice he's ever heard inside his head when he is going on what's the name of the planet?
Yeah.
That dark side planet. I can't even think of the name of it.
I know what you're talking about though, yeah.
But when he's there and he's about to go into like that Sith arena and he's going to come into contact with the like reanimated clone corpse of Palpatine, how long has that Palpatine been alive? You know, at this point in the series, I'm fairly certain Ben Solo has been born. At this point in the series, I'm fairly certain that Rey has been born.
It's interesting, too, because on that point, I mean, I know it's technically no longer canon, but it's canon to me. It's real to me. The original Star Wars Battlefront 2 campaign, not the one with Iden Versio, the first Star Wars Battlefront 2, when you play as the 501st, one of the missions you go on is clearing out rogue clones to regain control of Kamino. So what if?
Oh yeah, because that's where the cloning happens.
Right. Because why else? I mean, other than obviously wanting to build the Clone Wars and like the clone troopers for the Clone Wars, why else would he have erased Kamino off of the archives? Because if they're erased off of the Jedi archives and then you kill off the Jedi and nobody else really knows about Kamino, you can keep that in your back pocket to clone yourself.
Yeah, and Palpatine does allude to the fact that he knows how to manipulate the Force to create life.
because we know that he did that with Anakin, not to mention the fact. So I texted Strez in my NyQuil high, because I currently have a cold, that I decided to rewatch all of the Star Wars canon.
Yeah, when you text me that thing about all the girls who died protecting Padme, I was like, did you just watch the beginning of episode 2? Like what happened? Like where are we at? It's when the ship blows up, you're like, another successful landing, and it's like okay, well that's.
You should have knocked on wood, dog. Yeah, literally. So I have it paused on my TV. They're in the droid factory, and Anakin is about to discover that he messed up his lightsaber. Like, that is where I'm at in Attack of the Clones. But in Attack of the Clones,
Obi-Wan's gonna kill me.
When Obi-Wan Kenobi goes to Kamino, they even say that they have sped up the maturity process for the clones. So if they had started the cloning process by this point, before this point, if we say that they started it during, let's just say, Operation Cinder, which started a couple of months after Endor, that would track timeline wise, because they were able to take the clones and make them mature in half the time. So instead of maturing over like 21 years, that's only 11 years. And The Force Awakens takes place 18 years, give or take, after the events of Return of the Jedi. So that theory is not, like, if anyone comes for Strez and says it's insane, it's not insane.
I mean, it is a wild theory, but in my brain, I'm thinking, like, what if we like when the concept of midichlorians was introduced into the Star Wars universe,
right?
They told us that no one has ever had that high of a midichlorian count that Anakin possessed. No one has ever had that high of a midichlorian account since Master Yoda.
Right.
We've only seen 3 of those species.
Right.
Yoda, Yaddle, and Grogu now. We don't know where they're from. We don't even know what their species is called. You know, so it would not surprise me that, like, Palpatine knew that and he wanted to use the blood of maybe Yoda and Yaddle's offspring. I have no idea how this works.
Well, and I mean, you also have to consider the fact that he does also have Darth Vader still in his possession at this point, too. So it's very high chance that he was taking the midichlorians of Grogu and the midichlorians of Anakin Skywalker and using both to create these clones. When you consider the fact that Anakin Skywalker is the chosen one, none of us are arguing that point, but Anakin Skywalker is the chosen one. And then you have Rey, who is technically all of
so he would have had to have started it pre Return of the Jedi. Like, he started this process like way in advance.
Maybe he started, because we see all the failures, so maybe he started it with Anakin. Anakin dies, and so he's like, fuck, I need another, I did it. He needs another, I need somebody else. Baby Yoda.
That's, that could
I'm gonna be thinking about this now.
Yeah, sorry to drop that interesting theory in your brain. But yeah, I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, you know, and if we don't see him now, I feel like there's a chance that we could see him in the Heir to the Empire movie that they're, you know, talking about with Thrawn, like that final culmination movie.
I would love to, like, I would actually really like to know more about Palpatine after the fact. I would like to know who his offspring was. I would like to know why they decided to dump Rey on some random planet. I would love, like, that is information that,
and like,
I
obviously, like, that power is hereditary.
Yeah.
You know, like she force lightning a freaking ship out of the sky after having trained for
like 2 months.
Yeah, like, it's just like it's raw natural power. Like, we know that exists. Like, Luke was able to use the Force to blow up the Death Star in his first movie.
Right.
You know, like, the Family Guy makes that joke, you know, where Chris is like, "You don't believe in the Force, do you?" And Peter, who's playing Han Solo, and that episode's like, "Oh, you mean the thing that you just learned about 2 hours ago and are now lecturing me on?" I'm like, yeah, that's a really great point. Like, yeah, Luke barely knew anything about the Force, but because he was the offspring of Anakin Skywalker, he was so powerful in the Force that it came so naturally to him. So, yeah.
Which, A New Hope Luke Skywalker is just like the snottiest little brat.
But I was going to go to Tashi Station and something with the power converters. Like, dude, shut up.
Stop. But I do have to say on this point, because now I'm going to go down this rabbit hole. we don't know how his son came to be. His son, in the little memory bit that we get in The Rise of Skywalker, his son seemed fairly young. And Emperor Palpatine, like, no shade to Sheev, but like, homie is not young. Homie is not a young dude. But in Return of the Jedi, or Rise of Skywalker, in Rise of Skywalker, his son looked like he was Luke and Leia's age. So what if, similar to how Jango Fett wanted Boba Fett as a child?
Oh, he's a clone.
Yeah, Sheev made a son
without the sped up aging process,
in hopes that he could create a dynasty to take over for him. But maybe, I don't know how the son got out there and married somebody. Well, we'd have to know. But maybe, got out, discovered who he could be, and then was like, oh my God, this guy's insane. He's going to steal my grandchild. Time to do what everybody else did with Luke and, hope for the best.
Drop him off on a desert planet.
So far, that recipe works. I mean, they dropped Anakin off on a desert planet, and it kind of, sort of, not really works.
It works for 2 movies, and then the third one, they get run into by the... Yeah, I don't know. That'll be interesting. I think it's going to be a really good TV show. I mean...
Yeah.
The Mandalorian has been, I will never forget how I felt that episode when we saw Baby Yoda for the first time. I lost my mind. I'll never forget.
Were consumed.
I'll never forget how I felt the episode when Luke Skywalker comes in and saves the day. Like, I will never forget sitting on my couch and just being in tears watching that scene. Like the Mandalorian has, done something, I think, in Star Wars fans while they're watching the show, that I don't think that the sequel trilogy was able to do. Like, there were moments in the sequel trilogy, right? Like, Carrie Fisher passes away, and then we get to see the scene of her, like, going back to be with the Force, and like her, her, like, the blanket that was over top of her after she, dies at the end, just kind of like vanishes and stuff. Like, there were those moments that kind of like, yeah, that does something for me. But like, story-wise, like, within its own thing, not related to anything that's going on outside with these actors or actresses, The Mandalorian has been the best at like making, I think, Star Wars fans like feel something. And I don't expect anything less from this series.
So now if they could just give us some live action Battlefront 2, I'd be great. Like, I'd
Yeah, so speaking of giving us something.
Oh my God, okay.
You probably already saw this. Sadie Sink is rumored to be playing Jean Grey. And
I did see that.
Okay, we'll be making an appearance in Spider-Man.
I did see that.
And is rumored to be in Avengers Doomsday.
She's gonna be in Doomsday? I didn't see.
That's what the rumors that I'm seeing. When I saw, I was like, Sadie Sink is going to be Jean Grey. First of all, when people ask me, like, Jean Grey is my answer to this question.
Uh-huh.
If you could have any superpower, what would you have? I want what Jean Grey has.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, the most, like, everything that she can do is capable of doing with her mind.
Dog, why do you think I dye my hair red?
Valid. So valid. I love, so first off, the casting. I love that. It hasn't been like fully confirmed yet.
Right.
But everything we're seeing, and she's been asked questions, and she's kind of like been weird about it. It
makes sense too when you consider that they didn't ask the original actress who played Jean Grey back for Doomsday, and we know that they want to reset that timeline. We've known that for a while.
Yeah.
It's hard.
And Sophie Turner's busy being Laura Croft, so
see. But I was gonna say it's hard for me to be excited because I have gone on the record to say that I feel like there's so many really cool things that we could have gotten from Sophie Turner as Jean Grey if she had been better written. I think that Sophie Turner was probably one of the best casting. So her and the kid who played Scott, just for me, were just like A+ casting, of course. With Michael Fassbender
like
and
the
whatnot.
Days of Future Past era, that timeline.
Like, I just thought that most of that casting was really great.
McAvoy was a fantastic.
Such
Charles
a good
Xavier. Yeah.
I am not mad at this casting. I think that she did such a fantastic job in Stranger Things that I would be okay with handing off the mantle of Jean Grey to her. I will say like out of the choices that we've been presented, I'm okay with her playing Jean Grey over like MJ Watson because we technically already have an MJ Watson. I don't care what people say. We already have an MJ. Um I'm curious as to where in her journey we're going to see her because we've already gotten the Fantastic Four pre-established, which I appreciate and loved that. I loved that the Fantastic Four were already established. I'm hoping that we get the same thing for Jean Grey because as much as I love her, I do not want to see her struggle with her powers again. I don't. I want to see her
Yeah.
be Jean Grey.
Yeah, that's really, my next question is like, at what point in the mutant story are we?
Yeah.
Right? And I would think that we're probably pretty far along because of Deadpool.
Yeah.
And like I would envision it's not necessarily, we're not going to waste time going back and doing like the very beginning of Charles Xavier's school for.
Right. And I mean, most like most Marvel fans, like who probably have kids, have definitely shown their kids either the X-Men 90 or X-Men 97 TV show, 87, 97 TV show
87.
or 87, thank you. Have
Really
definitely
good,
shown
by the
them.
way. If you don't like
Yes,
cartoons, just set that aside for 10 episodes. It's
it's a
fantastic.
very good show. So, to me, and like I feel like a lot of people too have probably shown them like the original X-Men movies, which without them we would not have the MCU. So, it's like the Fantastic Four, and like with how they established Spider-Man, I don't think we need another origin story. I would like
Yeah.
to know a little bit as to how mutants have existed in this version of the MCU, but I've also heard that a lot of it is going to be like a timeline convergence because they technically made mutants enhanced. That's what they originally called them with Wanda and Pietro. They called them enhanced because at the time they didn't have rights
Yeah.
to
Well, I mean,
mutants.
that would explain why Wanda lost her accent. Like if they just did like a timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Timeline. Blah, 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 blah.
So yeah, it looks like the Department of Damage Control is seeing, it looks like they're going to be hunting mutants.
Love that we're getting there. Okay.
Yeah,
Love
really timely, it
that.
feels like, honestly, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Like that just like is a really timely thing, that they could be making a movie about, putting in movies. But so that's interesting. So that would mean, I don't know, maybe it is before like the school is made, or maybe it's like at the beginning of the school being made. I just
I'm
like I just
yeah.
don't like I don't know. Like we're kind of in uncharted territory here because now Marvel owns the rights to the X-Men now.
And it's interesting introducing her as like that's like you could technically say that Carol Danvers was the first. You could technically say the twins were the first. I don't know if I would with the twins because of the way they handled the twins. A lot of people don't consider Carol Danvers an X-Men, even though she was an X-Men for a time. So Jean Grey would be the first actual official X-Men that we are getting in the MCU. And I'm curious how, again, like I think for me it's just how do you plan on handling mutants when the two mutants, technically three that we have gotten so far, you just called them enhanced.
Yeah.
My other hope is that if they are doing this, they 1000% bring in the sauce that they brought in for Fantastic Four in regards to just making the X-Men feel as close to the actual comics as possible and
Yeah.
just like honoring what Jack Kirby and Joe Simon did with the mutants.
I mean, what they were able to do with Gambit in Deadpool 3.
Woo! I'm about to make a name for myself. I'm here.
Yeah, like I thought they did a wonderful job with him. What
Yeah.
they've been able to do with Deadpool by himself, I thought they did really good with Cable in Deadpool 2.
Yes.
Like
And
I think a lot of what like the recent era, not recent era, but like somewhat recent era of Marvel Cinematic Universe has done with mutants that they've had, like I think they've done a good job with them.
I think now it's just a matter of you're getting into the mainstream of it all.
Yeah.
So it's how do you show us that you can honor what the mutants were created to represent and still keep your fan base content when there have been a couple of hiccups with some other characters that they've sort of fumbled the ball with, you know?
Yeah. I feel like outside of Spider-Man, the X-Men are the most popular
Mhm.
IP that Marvel has.
Oh, for sure.
Especially, I mean, if you go back 20 years, before, I guess it was 20 years ago this year that Iron Man came out, wasn't it? 2006?
It was.
Yeah, so like you go
Oh.
back 20 years, like going into that movie, people are like, Iron Man, isn't that just like Marvel's Batman? Like, isn't that what is it's just a rich guy that has a lot of tech? Right? Like going into that movie, people were
Yeah.
kind of unfamiliar. And I would say maybe the Incredible Hulk too. But like the
But, like,
X-Men, like
yeah. They didn't know
people have
Captain
known about the
America.
X-Men for like the
Yeah.
X-Men, we had cartoons. Like
Mhm.
our parents had the X-Men cartoons. Like we
Yeah.
got X-Men cartoons. We ended up starting to get X-Men movies,
Yep.
right? When, before Hugh Jackman ever learned what a push-up was, because I actually watched that first X-Men movie not that long ago. I'm like, wow, he is so scrawny. This is embarrassing.
Yeah. Before they
And
had, like, 8 packs.
yeah, 8 packs, like everyone was on steroids. Everyone was
Yeah.
taking 17 grams of milligrams of creatine every day. Like
Right, right.
but I mean, even at that point, like people knew the X-Men, like people knew who the Wolverine was, people knew who Storm was, people knew who Cyclops was, people knew Magneto, people knew, Charles Xavier, like
It's interesting too. I had heard a rumor floating around that they were potentially debating recasting T'Challa and just kind of redoing a lot of that. And I'm interested too if they do decide to go that route, if we are going to see Storm and T'Challa together, because they are a very famous royal couple together.
yeah,
Or if they decide not to do that to honor Chadwick Boseman, which is my preferred stance
that's
on
my
that.
preference too.
And the story that they've created with him, I don't think needs to be changed. I'm curious too, on that note, like, are they going to add anything about Nick Fury and Wolverine fighting together? Because they did technically fight together in World War II. Um, there's a lot of stuff that, like, my head now as a huge comic book fan, I'm like, how are they gonna handle this?
Yeah, and I think casting Sadie Sink as Jean Grey,
It's smart.
who was like the last thing that we got Sadie Sink in was she was playing a high school kid. She's gonna show up in a movie with Spider-Man.
As, like, a college kid.
Right? Like, so
Yeah.
she's very young, so they're gonna be able to like work
Develop
with
the
work with Jean Grey's character for years. So that will be interesting. I guess the part that's confusing to me though is like the guy. What is the actor's name that plays Scott?
James Marsden?
Yeah, he's like
Yeah, so how does that work?
yeah.
That's my
that
question.
part is kind of confusing to me. So maybe we're just feeding you guys just straight BS. Maybe Sadie Sink's not even playing Jean Grey.
Well, no, because again, we do know that the MCU does plan to do a little bit of a timeline cleanse, so to speak, and we have
They're gonna
heard
have to answer
rumors.
those questions. Like that
Yeah.
specific question is going to need to be answered because that's gonna make like so many people feel gross in the
Right.
theaters. They're like, what? She
Well,
just graduated from
and now she's with him? What? Like,
What?
that guy's in his 40s. 50s even. I heard a rumor that supposedly that scene where we see Scott just going, like, subatomic.
Berserk. Yeah.
Yeah. Is his timeline being destroyed.
Oh.
And
That could be
so
interesting. Like that's like at the very beginning of the movie, maybe.
yeah, and so
Like
then
Victor Von Doom maybe did that
mhm.
himself.
And so then
Okay.
he and Charles and Nightcrawler is able to like blip them into a different reality, which is there when he discovers whoever, I guess supposedly Cyclops and Steve Rogers are supposed to have a scene together, and if that is true, y'all are gonna have to like call a wellness check on me because I am not okay. I love those men so much. Yeah, so I guess I think it'd be a really interesting opening to like almost almost Endgame-esque to open it up like that. Like just that brutal and intense with like a killing, but instead of a killing,
Oh yeah, the beginning of
entire timeline.
Endgame where they chop off
Go and
Thanos'
kill.
head.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
is it
or
it
like the
might be
ending.
Infinity
What if they
War.
take the ending of Infinity War where everybody's getting blipped
Yeah.
and like make that the beginning of, which
Well,
would be, feels like that could be in line with like what Doctor Doom is like capable of doing.
I'm thinking more, oh god, I can't remember what is it, the opening of Infinity War? Or it's an end credit scene maybe where it's Thanos coming to the ship that has most of the survivors of Asgard and we just see like all these bodies on the floor. I think that would be a really interesting opening if we open in Charles Xavier School for the
Like a
Gifted
battle
Gifted
has already
Hamster.
happened.
Yeah, and we see all of, we see Jean, we see Beast, we see all of these famous X-Men.
Like honor
Although,
them
yeah,
somehow, but
but they're gone. And
yeah.
we just see Scott being Scott Summers, and then I don't know. I think it would be a really good way to, since we have such a
God.
little like leeway into Doom because this wasn't the original plan, give us something right off the bat to make us sit there and be like, oh, this guy is horrifying. Give us a Doctor Doom that we've only seen in the comics and not in movies yet. I want to be so scared of this man.
What movie was that the end credit scene from? It wasn't Ragnarok. Was it Guardians
Captain
2?
Marvel?
Was it Guardians 2?
What end credit scene was
Somebody in the comment section is like, it was this movie.
Okay, let's see. No, not that one. What movie had Thanos killing Asgard? It was a post-credit scene for Ragnarok, yeah.
Was it Ragnarok? Okay.
Yeah. That's so weird.
Oh, so they like went back. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I'm remembering properly now. Yeah.
But
man.
like, that would be such an interesting.
That would be a sweet way to start it. It's like, oh, they mean business. Like we're getting down and dirty, like right away. That would, because it feels like that's something that they're gonna need to do.
Yeah. Like, OG comic book fans know how scary Doctor Doom is. He's actually the main villain in the current Captain America run, and it's terrifying as all heck, dude. And so, like, I would love, as a comic book fan, for the very first time that we see Doctor Doom, since they haven't really led us up to this because they had to shift gears, I would love for the very first thing to be like, you need to be terrified of this guy, and here's why. This right here is why.
He killed the entire original X-Men.
Which, like, they were alpha level by the time those movies ended. The original movies, they were alpha level. They were terrifying. I'm not fighting them. Are you kidding me? And then he just like ones them.
Yeah, that would be a really great way to kick it off. But December is a long ways away.
No. It's like what, 9 months away? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, March 1st is Sunday. So yeah, we got a ways to go before we're gonna even get like a legitimate trailer for these. Like Dune's Day, like when Dune and Avengers Doomsday come out on the same day. Like we have a ways to go.
I don't like that.
So,
hey, Marvel, if you hear this, my birthday is on Wednesday. Please give me a trailer. Thanks. The last time we asked for a trailer, it worked. So maybe this time it'll work.
That's true, but we were kind of like griping about it at that point.
That's
like
fair. That's fair.
Maybe that's what they need to hear. But anyways, let us know what you guys think in the comment section below about the way too early win totals predictions for the 2026 NFL season. The 2025 report cards. How did your team fare? Where did they rank? What do you guys think is going to happen to the Mandalorian and Grogu? And Jean Grey, Sadie Sink? Is that real? How do we feel? I don't know. Let us know in the comments section, and be sure to click that subscribe button. Drop a like on your way out. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We'll catch you guys in the next episode of Gridiron Geeks.